Good morning and happy Thursday. I hope you started your day well, and we are nearly reaching the end of the lesson 4, and we are going to be talking about a lesson for all. If you remember what we studied yesterday, it was about what Peter had done and how the Gentiles had responded to his behavior, and how Paul had to rebuke him in public. And so the question that we've been asked today is, what should we learn from the way Peter accepted Paul's rebuke and why the correction was done publicly? So what Peter had done was public. People knew about it. The other Jews saw it, the Gentiles saw it, and even Barnabas was influenced by it. And it also affected the relationship how the Gentiles felt about the whole thing. And so we see that it was a learning lesson for us, because we see that in Peter is being told that he's said to have failed in the principle of integrity. So how often do we fail in this principle of integrity? How often is it that we say that we are Christians, we do this or we believe this or do that, but then find ourselves doing quite the opposite? And that's really what was happening to Peter, because he's the one who had shared the message about the Gentiles. And here he is pretending and not sitting with the Gentiles, and because there were other people other Jews who were of the ceremonial law. So we see that Paul had to withstand his subverting influence face to face. And so Paul had to do something about it. And in Proverbs 27 verse 5, it tells us, open rebuke is better than secret love. So that was open rebuke, which Paul did in the name of love, because he knew that if he didn't do it, Peter would probably have lost his way, and other people. It would have really affected a lot of people. So this has been recorded so that we can profit by it, and that the lesson may be a solemn warning to the men in high places, that they may not fail in integrity, but keep close to principle. And this I think basically applies to everyone, not just men in high places, but everybody. We all are responsible for other people, so we need to keep our integrity intact. So in the third paragraph, it tells us Peter saw the error into which he had fallen, and immediately set about repairing the evil that had been wrought, so far as was in his power. God, who knows the end from the beginning, permitted Peter to reveal this weakness of character, in order that the tried apostle might see that there was nothing in himself whereof he might boast. So we see that God does not let his own just go when they are making mistakes. God allowed this to happen, and he allowed Paul to rebuke Peter. And Peter saw the error quickly, and it's also a lesson for us. How quickly do we see our error and repent from it and turn away from it? So it continues to say that even the best of men, if left to themselves, will err in judgment. God also saw that in time to come some would be so deluded as to claim for Peter and his pretended successors the exalted prerogative that belonged to God alone. And this record of the apostle's weakness was to remain as a proof of his fallibility and of the fact that he stood in no way above the level of the other apostles. So sometimes we may think that these people were perfect because they did a marvelous work. There were so many converts, but we have on record that even the best of the best can err and make a mistake, and they need to be reminded that they're fallible. So it continues to say that the greater responsibility is placed upon the human agent, and the greater the responsibility is placed upon the human agent, and the larger his opportunities to dictate and control, the more harm he is sure to do if he does not carefully follow the way of the Lord and labor in harmony with the decisions arrived at by the general body of believers in united counsel. So the more influential a person is, the more harm we can do. So we know as Christians there are people around us, people we work with, people we associate with, people we meet on a day-to-day basis. So how are we representing Christ in our lives? And how can this influence them in whatever decisions that they make? So it's something to think about, because this lesson is very important, because it's something we often fail in. We can do things so that we can fit in, or to be accepted, or not to feel odd. But basically what you're supposed to do is to stand firm stand by principle and integrity. So I hope we learned a good lesson today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we can do our review, and hope you have a blessed day. Bye bye.